Hello, and a warm welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Coming up today on the program, non-governmental organization donates food items to victims of flood disaster in YOBE State. And in Anambra State, Governor Willie Obiano cautions Nupeng Enugu Depot over fake petroleum products. Then the Abia State chapter of the Nigeria Bar Association asked the federal government to withdraw Operation Python Dance from the southeast region. Support is coming the way of over 100 people in Karasuwa local government area of YOBE State in the northern part of Nigeria after a heavy downpour rendered them homeless. The permanent secretary of YOBE State Emergency Management Agency says the gesture from the NGO will alleviate the sufferings of the flood victims. He explains that the government will soon move the people away from the flood area.
You can recall that even earlier when the episode happened, being in the spirit of the YOBE, as usual, we are our brothers keepers. So all of them were able to find a refuge in one of their relations or some good Samaritans. So they found that the situation is not that of a calm kind of, or maybe this is kind of, they've been taken care of by the host communities where they found themselves. And the immediate intervention made by government under the leadership of His Excellency, the Executive Governor, Dr. Ibrahim Gaidam, brought the situation to a halt. They are very comfortable.
To health matters now, doctors on strike in public hospitals have agreed to return to work tomorrow following the suspension of a 10-day nationwide industrial action. The National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, suspended the strike action after meeting with the Minister of Health last night. NARD's president-elect, Dr. Chinaka Ugochukwu, announced the suspension via a text message to Channel Television's health correspondent in Abuja. The Resident Doctors Union had on Monday, September the 4th, declared an indefinite strike to protest poor welfare of members and demand for better conditions of service. Over the past weeks, the country has seen a constant rise in strike actions from various unions across the country. Thankfully, the National Association of Resident Doctors has called off its 10-day-old strike. But some other unions, like the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, the Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, the United Labour Congress, Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, and Assembly of Healthcare Professionals, ASPA, are still adamant. Joining us on the program to discuss the strike action is Dr. Akinwale, an employment relations expert from the University of Lagos. Thank you so much for coming on the program, Dr. Akinwale.
Nice meeting you.
Okay, so let's start off. What do you think is the reason for the recent surge in strike actions?
If you look at the current regime, you will realize that the government has spent shortly over 2 years in office, and it's logical that workers have been waiting for some expectations to be met. And if workers are tired of waiting, the next reaction is for them to come out with full force to demand for their rights. And basically, if agreements have been reached and not implemented, it becomes easier for workers to go to the streets or for workers to declare strike. One thing we must understand about strike is this: workers don't like to go on strike, but when they are pushed to the wall, they see strike as inevitable, as a way of reminding their employers of already established agreements.
What, in the case of NARD, what do you think the federal government did right to make them call off their strike?
Well, workers in the health sector, government thinks that they cannot leave fire on top of the roof, because government realizes that the outcome of that strike will be more devastating immediately. Immediately in the sense that patients in the hospitals who are supposed to be attended to, their condition can easily get worse if doctors do not quickly return to work.
And what about education as well?
You see, the impact, government may feel that the impact of ASU strike will not be immediate. But you see, government need to understand that the future implication may be more devastating than what may be immediate
yes, because they're the ones training the doctors, the future teachers,
exactly.
And what have you. So what do you think that the government can do to help so that all those strike actions can be solved?
Like I said before, if you have an agreement, you should honor it. You know, government was not forced to enter into agreement with various unions. Once agreement is established, the next thing that should follow is implementation. You know, so if you have an agreement with somebody and you refuse to implement, you are sending a wrong signal. And you are calling for war. You reach agreement and you are not ready to implement. What does that mean? It means you are looking for trouble. I know Nigerian workers are very considerate. When you go into the issue of labor movement in Nigeria, you can see that over time, workers are not quick to say they want to go on strike. But it is when they are fed up, you know, that is where they say, okay, it's like we've reminded government, we've approached all the stakeholders, yet situation remains the same.
Well, according to a statement signed by the President of the United Labour Congress, and let me quote directly here, He says, "The strike will be very effective as we hope to cripple all modes of transportation within the nation, ensure a total blackout nationwide, cut off petroleum product supply, and disrupt banking operations. And this will only make life difficult for the Nigerian people." But do you think this manner of approach will yield positive results?
It's political. It should. It's a way to let the government know what may happen.
But it will also affect the average Nigerian on the street.
Of course, it will. Definitely, if two elephants fight, you know, grass will suffer. You know, when you look at the mindset of the union leader who is making such statement, you could see such statement can come from frustration. If somebody is frustrated, the person can say anything to attract attention. So this statement is dangerous, and government should make sure that, you know, the situation is brought under control. That's what I think should happen. If you have a statement like that, it means the person making this statement has some strength, has some information of, okay, we are pushed to the wall, and now we don't want this to happen.
Well, we have to wrap up quickly now, but in a few seconds, can you tell us what the government can do to prevent such, at least back-to-back?
Strike is preventable. Government should fulfill its part of the bargain.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Akinwale. To all the stories now, stop selling fake petroleum products. This advice is coming from the governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, when the leadership of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, at the Enugu depot, visited him at the governor's lodge in the state. He complained about the problems associated with such practice and made it clear that anyone caught doing this will face the law.
This visit of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers Enugu Depot office to the Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano is for two reasons. It is to identify with the governor's administration and endorse his re-election bid, and also to bring to the governor's attention some of the issues the union has with the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps.
And our second demand to see you urgently arose at the instance of our ugly encounter with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps of Anambra State Command. It had only appeared that you join us to draw the attention of their command headquarters, Abuja, over the need to offset the estimated cost of artillery and damages since May 2017 to date.
Governor Obiano cautions the union on the dangers of adulterated petroleum products.
My second appeal, apart from adulterated products, is that you must ensure that your people first maintain their vehicles.
It is expected that after this visit to the state governor, the union will intensify its efforts towards checking adulterated products in the state.